Let's talk about something. Have you ever loved a pet so much you might actually be hurting them? Well, we're going to dive into a story by James Herriot called A Triumph of Surgery, and it explores that exact question. It's a fantastic tale about a super pampered dog, his totally devoted owner, and a vet who has to stage let's just say, a very unconventional operation.
I mean, this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. It's the whole story in one sentence. It's a powerful reminder that even when we have the absolute best intentions, our love can sometimes backfire in a big way. So, with that in mind, let's meet our little patient.
All right, so let's get into the main issue here. The dog's owner, Mrs. Pumphrey, absolutely adores her dog, Tricki. There's no question about that. But as we're about to see, her affection is so over the top that it kind of blurs the line between love and what's actually making him sick.
Okay, so picture this. You're the vet, Mr. Herriot, and you see this little guy on the street, and you're just shocked. Tricki is described as being so fat he looks like a sausage with legs. His eyes are all bloodshot, his tongue is hanging out. He's less like a dog and more like a very well-loved, overfed little mess.
And this is where it all goes wrong. You see, Mr. Herriot had already given our simple, solid advice: a strict diet, no sweets, and regular exercise. But Mrs. Pumphrey, in her own loving way, thought Tricki was weak and malnourished. So she starts adding all these little extras, cod liver oil, a nightly bowl of Horlicks, and of course, his absolute favorite cream cakes and chocolates. You can just see the huge gap between what the doctor ordered and what her love delivered.
Now, you might think this is all on Mrs. Pumphrey, right? Well, not entirely. Tricki had a fatal flaw of his own. The dog was just unbelievably greedy. He would eat literally anything at any hour of the day, and Mrs. Pumphrey just couldn't say no to him. The two of them together, it was a perfect storm of overindulgence.
So Mr. Herriot sees all this, and he just knows this can't go on. To save this dog, he was going to have to do something pretty drastic. And that brings us to his very, very unconventional treatment plan. And sure enough, just like he knew it would, the phone call came. It was Mrs. Pumphrey, and she was in an absolute panic. Tricki had totally collapsed. He wasn't eating anything, not even his favorites. He was just lying there, vomiting. The time for talking was over. It was time to act.
Mr. Herriot's solution was simple, and there was no arguing about it. Tricki had to go to the hospital for 2 weeks. He needed to be completely removed from his owner's loving but, let's be honest, toxic environment. And let me tell you, Mrs. Pumphrey did not take it well. She nearly fainted. She was convinced he'd just pine away and die without her.
And if you needed any more proof of how pampered this dog was, get this. As Mr. Herriot is carrying Tricki to the car, the entire household staff comes rushing out with his luggage. I'm talking day beds, night beds, cushions, toys, his entire set of dinner bowls, and even a whole wardrobe of little coats. It was just ridiculous. Mr. Herriot just got in the car and drove off, leaving all of it behind.
So after all that drama, what was this amazing, life-saving surgery that Tricki was about to get? Are you ready for this? For 2 whole days, no food, just plenty of water. And after that, he was just left to run around with the other dogs at the clinic. That's it. That was the miracle cure.
So Tricki's stay at the clinic starts this incredible transformation. But funnily enough, it wasn't just his life that got a little upgrade. His recovery led to some pretty great and unexpected perks for the vet and his staff.
Okay, so day 1, nothing. Day 2, still nothing. But then on the 3rd day, something happens. Tricki actually shows a little bit of interest in his surroundings. He trots out into the garden and he's immediately surrounded by the other dogs. They sniff him, roll him over, and pretty much decide he's a boring lump and leave him alone. But hey, it was a start. His first real step into being a dog. And from that moment on, it was like a switch flipped. Tricki's progress was amazing. He started having to compete for his food. He joined in on the playful scraps with the other dogs. He even started hunting rats in the henhouse at night. He had finally become an accepted member of the pack, living a life he had never, ever experienced before. Meanwhile, back at home, Mrs. Pumphrey is blowing up the phone, desperate for updates. The second she hears Tricki's getting better, what does she do? She starts sending reinforcements to build up his strength. First up, 24 fresh eggs every single day. Now, did a little dog like Tricki need 24 eggs a day? Absolutely not.
So you can guess what happened, right? Yep, Mr. Harriet and his partners started having some very luxurious breakfasts, a couple of eggs each every morning. But the perks, they did not stop there. Oh, no, it didn't stop with eggs. Next, bottles of wine started showing up to enrich Tricki's blood, you see. So now they were having these wonderful ceremonial lunches with wine. And then came the brandy. For a while there, life was pretty great for the staff. It was eggs in the morning, wine at lunch, and brandy by the fire at night.
I mean, can you blame them? Fresh eggs, wine, brandy? Wouldn't you be tempted to just keep Tricki as a permanent guest? The good times were definitely rolling. But Mr. Harriet was a good vet, and he knew Mrs. Pumphrey was suffering without her dog. So after 2 weeks, he finally made the call.
And that brings us to the big finale, the climax of the story, the emotional reunion, and the moment we finally understand the title, A Triumph of Surgery. The change was just night and day. It was astounding. That bloated, sick little creature that showed up 2 weeks ago, gone, totally gone. In his place was this sleek, hard-muscled, energetic little animal. He was running with the pack, totally transformed into a healthy, happy dog.
The second Tricki sees her car pull up, he just goes crazy. He launches himself from Mr. Harriet's arms in this incredible leap right into Mrs. Pumphrey's lap. He's licking her face, barking, just pure, absolute joy. It was a really beautiful thing to see.
And as the car is pulling away, a tearful Mrs. Pumphrey leans out of the window, looks at her wonderfully transformed dog, and delivers that iconic line. In her mind, the vet had performed some kind of medical miracle, some complex operation to save her little Tricki.
And that's really the final question, isn't it? The real triumph of surgery had absolutely nothing to do with scalpels or medicine. It was a triumph of common sense over blind affection, a triumph of discipline over indulgence, and most importantly, it was the triumph of just letting a dog be a dog.